lead product for the brand portfolio at Bazaarvoice in Austin, Texas. Here I am again. Not sure why, but I'm a bit nervous, but let's get the show on the road. So Bazaarvoice is known by many as a ratings and reviews company. We basically power consumer-generated content on the retailers you love. So when you get to a product page and you need to make a decision, knowing what others like you think about that product is what we power. What else? A little about me. Before my role at Bazaarvoice, I was the Vice President of Product Innovation at Time Inc. in New York. I've had several leadership positions in product. Also in that, I've worked in product for about 15 years and started a product strategy company in those 15 years, and it actually has paid the bills, thank God. I'm also extremely passionate about working with startups as an investor and as a mentor. However, when I was asked to speak with you guys today, there are many stories I could tell you. I could tell you about my against all odds story. I'm an immigrant from Nigeria, and obviously working in tech, I was in the Bay Area, moved to Seattle, moved to New York. I could tell you that story, but I wasn't sure it would be pertinent to you, and Erin did an excellent job of speaking about that, just being the only one. And then there's so many other stories I could tell, but I chose instead to tell you something that was fundamental for me. It's about change. Like I said, moved out here, I actually left home at 9 years old, and because of that, I've become one of those people that can actually figure out and see beneath the surface, right? I can anticipate what's coming before most others can. I've had to fend for myself in many ways, know what is sure, and then plan ahead. And as a result, I think that's been part of my success story. And as leaders in the field, I think it's important. We don't often get enough opportunity to learn about change and managing others through change. So, spoiler alert, there are changes in your future, okay? The thing is, everybody knows that the only constant is change. And as I said, we're often not prepared for it. The reality is, as you sit here today, your team at home is changing course for a few of you. They're going to end up with a product you didn't intend for them to, or they're going to ship something you didn't plan for. I'll be honest with you, I got a resignation letter while I was here. So some of you will lose employees in the time you are here, right? Your boss will leave, an employee will leave, a partner will leave, your husband's partners may change jobs or something. So change happens to us whether we like it or not, whether we're prepared for it. The thing is, with change comes anxiety, right? It actually is one of the things that prevents us from actually soaring. So you're doing well, and then change happens, and all of a sudden you lose balance. You're not sure what to do. I think it's actually ironic because product management, right, is really about change. We have systems and rituals in place to manage, right, change. We use words like as leaders, like we're agile, right? We are transformative. We disrupt. We take all the good things about change in our product. But in life, in real life, we actually fail. We just aren't prepared to take our teams to the next level as it pertains to change. So the thing I want to share with you is, my name is Ezinne, right? And many people call me Zina, Warrior Princess. So this image really resonates with me, and I'm hoping I can leave it with you. I did search the internet for warriors, female warriors, and the images you see, this is one of the tamest, I will say. Anyway, you guys get it. So, what if I could share some ideas with you about what it is to stand confident, ready to lead your life, lead your team through change, right? And it's really founded on a couple of things. Knowing who you are. Again, Erin and Nava stole my thunder. You need to know who you are. You need to anticipate and be planful. And then, in this whole warrior context, you need to charge. So I'll tell you my stories. Before I start, I want you guys to stare at change. The reality is that, according to Merriam-Webster, right, change is the act of becoming different. So on the other side, and listen to me guys, on the other side of change is simply difference. The reality oftentimes, it's some difference. So it's important that you guys stare and understand this. With critical review, right? If you're looking at change, you understand that, yes, something will change, but it's not everything. And it's important as you lead that you are clear about what isn't changing as well. I think we do not do ourselves a good service when we don't actually understand that it's just some things that change. So I'll tell you a story. In 2003 or thereabout, I started at T-Mobile. I will cut a 9-year-long story really short. I had a really interesting career. Anybody in 2002, 2003 knows that telco was the place to be for innovation. We didn't have Google Android phones, quite frankly. Apple iOS was still being thought about, I think. But the reality is we were the ones who were pushing the innovation you are actually sitting on today. The industry changed around me. Technologies changed around me. Wi-Fi became a big thing. I actually was part of the team that put Wi-Fi at Starbucks, just so you know. It wasn't a thing then. But I evolved. You're very welcome. So my career evolved, and it evolved really well. But as Android showed up, iOS showed up, Amazon showed up, Facebook showed up, product management wasn't the place to be at T-Mobile. So I decided to take the next best thing, which is run strategic partnerships at T-Mobile. So I managed the Google relationship, Facebook relationship, Twitter, the big ones, right? Amazon too. And I had just helped close a huge deal for the company. And I was extremely miserable. Again, I'll cut the story short. I had actually lost my Cornerstone. My Cornerstone is shipping products to millions. You guys use billions these days, but then it was millions. And actually growing a business. And in strategic partnerships, I wasn't doing that. So in this path of mastering change, and as you manage your careers, you've heard it time and time again, but I will say it again just in case. Know who you are. Know what you stand for. Know what matters to you in your career, in your life, and even with your teams. It's funny how many leaders actually leave it to the team to figure out. I think the most innovative teams are the ones where the leaders are really clear about the goal, and you let the team innovate themselves to a solution. Tell you another story. What do raising a toddler, old, building a group from ground up, doing a bi-coastal MBA have to do with each other? Okay? It's hard work. And something you should probably not do at the same time. But challenge accepted! I chose to do all at the same time. All probably heard this. Like I called my mom lamenting about where I was. And you've all heard the thing, you're going to drop some balls. But my mother, being who she is, Nigerian woman, she's like, don't drop them, just give them to somebody gently, right? Yes? But you stand out when you do that, actually. Like, try and anticipate it and just give it to someone to do, right? Put it aside, don't drop it if you can. But if it drops, so what, right? You'll be okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is, if you know your cornerstone, and you have the balls that will stay in motion, I think it's important that you anticipate the change that actually matters. So in that conversation, my mother said, okay, you need an au pair or a nanny, yes. So, but do you have a plan B for your plan B? I was like, wow, that stuck with me. If my au pair was sick, what would I do? I had a nanny agency on call, because I was flying all over the country. And then beyond that, I knew I could call my mother, and in 72 hours, she would be from Nigeria in the US. I knew that. If work didn't go well, or something happened with my husband's job while I was doing all this, I had a plan B for my plan B. So again, know what's important to you. Anticipate the change that matters. I'm not saying look and create all the alternatives. There are a few that matter. At work, for me, I found out that there are about 3 things that I actually need to anticipate. People, employees leaving. The truth of the matter is I knew this guy was probably on the fence, right? Just anticipating, and I know who his backup is, right? The second is the market, or the customer. If a big client leaves, something changes with customers, I'm always trying to play a war game it out. And the other is the market. So that's how I manage my career. Whenever I'm thinking of my vision, my statement, the outcomes I'm driving for a business, those are the changes I try to anticipate. So I'm sure there are a few of you who have other ones, but I encourage you to do the work of knowing your vision, knowing your cornerstone, and then thinking through, doing the work to actually anticipate the things that matter, the things that can actually have an impact. You know, we are told to manage our riskiest assumptions. Just do the work. I'm going to go back to the warrior metaphor, right? You've picked to juggle, right? And as a warrior, you're standing confident, knowing your what and why for battle. Know the fronts you're going to battle in. That's all I'm trying to say here. And I know this person says you can't fight a war on 2 fronts and a madman only does it in 3, but he hasn't met us, right? We fight battles on 3, 4 fronts. But the point is, know what they are. So everything I said was about getting ready for that stimulus, which is the change, right? And I think it was Naba who said this, and actually Erin said it too. When Naba said, make a decision. I'm asking you to be deliberate. When that stimulus comes, because you know you're a cornerstone, because you've actually taken the time to plan out and anticipate change, when that stimulus happens, it's really important that you choose. Don't let the change choose you. Choose your action and respond with intention, okay? So I'll tell you a story about my current role. I joined Bazaarvoice, I'd say maybe 15 months ago, and my mission, build and scale a brand business. Within 2 months, we got our employee engagement survey. It was in the toilet. So, does my mission change? No. I just know that in addition to building and scaling a brand business, I have to build an engaged and high-performing team. So it's a very deliberate statement that I share with my team and say, guys, we're still doing this, but we're going to have to focus on engaging well and actually improving our performance. 7 months go by. The distribution channel that I was going to use to build the brand business was dried up, was closed up. So we needed to figure out how else would we scale this brand business. Does it change our mission? No, we're still going to build and scale a brand business. My team still needs to be high performing and engaged, right? I needed to find a new method. It was just a tactic. So same vision, same mission. Remind everybody, not everything has changed. The sky isn't falling, right? Many other things have happened. We actually got acquired by another company. So again, things haven't changed. The environment may have changed. There's external stimulus, but the reality is we know who we are. We know what we're trying to do. We have planned for things that might happen, the things that will have an impact on our business. And this thing changes nothing. And we can actually move forward. I think it's really important for us as leaders to be clear, to take the time. You're going to hear from a lot of great speakers today. You're going to write tons of notes. You've done this before. But if you don't actually take the time to reflect and apply the things that you're learning, it's almost useless, right? It's been said in so many different ways, right? Know who you are. Know your what and why. What war are you going to go? I use the war metaphor, just follow, play along, right? Know your what, know your why. Look up. Determine what front you're going to fight this battle, right? And be deliberate. You don't see many men just go, maybe I might, maybe I should, maybe I could. Choose and act with intent. So I'm speaking to the late stage career people, right? The reality is, to not expect change is irrational. To not be prepared is irresponsible. You guys are thinking about a whole lot of things. You're probably wondering, how do I become VP? How do I switch careers and maybe go into venture? How do I become chief product officer? Whatever your next step is. I've spoken about change as an external stimulus, but the same things apply when you're actually the one who is supposed to drive the change. Why? What? Right? What vectors need to change? and then acting with intent. So I'll take you back to my favorite image. It's a mantra, and also a mantra that I've begun to use a lot. It actually encapsulates everything I just shared with you. It's know your goal. Make a plan. The terrain will dictate, but charge you must. Thank you.